All right. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Happy Hanukkah. Whatever you celebrate, because I'm sure one of you is probably going to say, well, you didn't say my holiday. Whatever. So yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I forgot that this Saturday was the game. Um, Obviously, over Christmas time, you get with family unless you're not fortunate enough to have family, or whatever. But talking with family, doing what I do, I talk about sports. So that's usually the conversations I have with family. Um, and it came up about the game. Hey, are you ready about the games? Are you ready for the game Saturday? And I was like, what game? They're like, the Ohio State game. And I was like, wait a minute. That's this Saturday? Yeah. So I completely forgot that it was this early already. Obviously, that's something I should know. But I don't know. I just didn't remember. Came up too quick. But anyway, um, what's today? Friday? So the game's tomorrow. Holy crap. Um, But yeah, I realized I haven't done any prediction or talk about the video or about the game other than the video about the reaction to the rankings and all that. So this is going to be prediction on how that game's going to go. So I have kind of had this same score in my head ever since the rankings came out. I was a little upset because it's Clemson. We haven't beat Clemson. Here we go again. But to me, I think this is a very different time, a very different team on both sides. But for Ohio State, the things that they were lacking, drastically lacking, are the strengths, I would argue, for this year. So the score prediction that I've had in my head, like I said, since the rankings came out, was 35-27 Ohio State. Now, there's a lot of people who are thinking this is going to be a really low scoring game, or it's going to be a very high scoring game, or it's going to be a blowout, which I don't think it'll be a blowout either way. I've said it before, I think these two teams are the best in college football. But Clemson won't be in the top two because of their resume, nor should they, in my opinion. But if we're just going by ability, the best two teams, it's probably Clemson and Ohio State, if we're being honest. So Clemson this year struggled a lot more than last year. Okay. They almost got beat by North Carolina. They had a couple closer ones earlier on. And then they turned it on and blew everybody out by probably more than 30 points a game. So a lot of people will point to, well, they almost lost to North Carolina, and they've had major struggles for the most part all year. And the games that they have won big are against teams that suck. And while that may be true, which I think it is true, Ohio State has faced a billion times tougher schedule, has dominated the majority of that schedule, won every game by 10 points or more, has faced some adversity. People were saying that Penn State game was close. It was never close. It was just a couple of bad turnovers that got them in position that made it close. If those turnovers never happened, we wouldn't even be talking about the Penn State game. We'd be talking about it like the first Wisconsin game, how it was that big blowout. And then in the Big Ten championship, went down early. I think it was like 21-7 at halftime. Um, the team thought that was a walkthrough. They didn't want to. I'm not saying they didn't want to focus on that, but I think they went into it with the mindset of, okay, this is just going to be an easy walk in, handle your business, and leave, instead of, no, this is going to be a fight, which obviously it turned out to be a fight. Anyway, come back to win the Big Ten championship. But I say all this to say that Ohio State has faced the much tougher schedule, like I already said. And this, to me, is what's going to prepare them more than Clemson. Last year, we were having similar talks, and Clemson blew out Alabama, okay? And Notre Dame. Notre Dame sucked last year. They never should have been in the playoffs. I don't care if you're undefeated or not. They didn't have a conference championship. And until they join a conference, they won't. And I think they should be forced to. And I think they should join the ACC or the Big Ten. You look at their other sports, they're in conferences. They're bought and owned by NBC. But anyway, I've never bought Notre Dame last year as a good team, as a competitive team to an elite program like Clemson. But Notre Dame was good enough to get them ready to face Alabama. I think that last year's Clemson team facing Notre Dame last year to me was similar to, trying to think, because it's not like there's an exact comparison there. But if you compare Notre Dame to a Big Ten team, as far as like this year, Michigan blew them out. So Michigan State probably. And I know people are going to say, well, how can you say Notre Dame? I'm not saying they are Michigan State. I'm just saying, to me, Notre Dame, even though they were undefeated, was never an elite team. Sorry. They're the brand name. That's just how it goes in college football. It's a reason why Alabama's in every year. So let's just be honest. So I think, like I said, that was a good warm-up game for Clemson to get to Alabama. This year, they don't have a warm-up game. Virginia was nothing to them. Ohio State has faced the schedule, has got through the roadblocks, went on that tough 3-game schedule with with Penn State, Michigan, and then Wisconsin. Those are 3 really good teams. And this is what has got OSU ready for this game. I think what's going to happen, what you're going to see in this game, is you're going to see Ohio State smack Clemson in the mouth early. I think we're going to come out and we're going to have a hard physical run game, similar to how the Penn State game started. Penn State was, I believe, like 4th in rush defense. So they had a good defense, stopping the run. And we came out and we just said, prove it. And we ran it down their throats. I don't even think there was a single pass play in that first drive. I see a similar thing happening here. Clemson's defensive line is very undersized. Similar to Michigan, how their defensive line was undersized. And we could run the ball effectively. I think that's what we're going to do. It's what we do best. We have one of the best running backs in the league. So I think that's probably going to be a majority of the plan. What I see is Ohio State jumping up early. I could see around halftime, maybe like a 17-7 lead, something like that. And then Ohio State will start to face the Clemson that everybody knows. I think Clemson will have time to adjust coming out of halftime. I think they'll make a comeback, make this a fight. I think Ohio State will always have that edge over Clemson based on what happens early in the game. And I think going through the fourth quarter, Clemson's going to be fighting tooth and nail, and they'll get close. But I think Ohio State will shut it out. 35-27, Ohio State. That's how I see this going. I know Justin Fields said he's not 100% on that knee. But I also seen a video of him on Instagram at Top Golf. And when you're golfing, you got to twist that knee. And it moved pretty good in my eyes. So, who knows? I mean, he only really knows the pain that he's at and his ability where he's at right now. But I think what we're going to need him to do is not run every play like JT Barrett was. I think we're just going to need him to be capable to get that third down conversion for the first with using his legs. And I think that's what he's going to do. I expect him to leave it all on the table because, you know, you'd rather risk injury and get to the national championship than not put it all out there, try to stay safe, and then lose. So I think that's what you're going to see. I think you're going to see everything balls to the wall, and I think this team's going to be ready to go. Clemson fans, one thing I have heard is that the coaching matchup is not even close. I strongly disagree with that because even though Dabo Swinney has the playoff experience, he knows how to do it. He's done it. That's not even in question. Ryan Day knows what he's doing. The last 16 straight wins coming from last season as well as this season. Taking over for a guy who is a college football legend. Stepping into those shoes and not only filling them, exceeding them. He's exceeded a lot of Buckeye fans' expectations. Offensively, he's a genius. And it's going to be interesting with Venables. I think I said that right. The defensive coordinator for the Clemson. It's going to be interesting to see that offense and defensive matchup there. But I think Swinney has the edge as far as experience in the playoffs. But to say that Ryan Day and Dabo Swinney are just so far off, even though Ryan Day maybe doesn't have the championships yet, the experience necessarily, I think it's pretty obvious he knows what he's doing. Number 3 recruiting class without Urban. That was my question. Was he going to be able to recruit? And absolutely he has, and he's produced. So we're not going anywhere. This is going to be like this for a while, and I think that we've had to step up on big stages before. Against Wisconsin, against Penn State, on the road at Michigan, and of course in the Big Ten Championship. These are not easy games, okay? I truly believe Clemson would struggle in a lot of these games. So it's not like Ryan Day has done nothing. It's not like he's never been tested. He knows what he's doing. So I think that matchup is going to be a little bit closer than people think. The Clemson wide receivers, T. Higgins, Ross, all of them, against Ohio State secondary. That's going to be interesting because we've seen a lot of these guys so far this year. We've seen them banged up. We've seen some guys have to come in like Amir Reap. Some of these, like Sean Wade's been hurt a lot recently. Kuda went out in the game. Damon Arnett has been in a cast forever. So these guys are not necessarily 100% with the time off maybe. They're getting there. They're getting healthy. But these receivers are big, they're strong, and they're fast. These are NFL receivers. They're going to be playing on Sundays. They're good. So this is going to be an interesting matchup. I think that these guys are going to be very prepared. When you're playing the corner position, it's a lot of you got to be quick, you got to be agile, you got to be smart because you don't want to take a wrong step. I think with the time off, the preparation, getting healed, getting ready, I think that's going to help them a lot, and I think they're going to be ready for this game. I think they'll put up a good fight against these guys. Everything I'm hearing sounds good as far as who's healthy. I think that'll be a really good matchup. I think Ohio State's offensive line is probably going to bully Clemson's defensive line. I mean, Clemson fans are going to say, there's no way. There's no way. Well, we've done it against every program so far this year. Sorry. The only team we haven't really is Wisconsin, and that was in the second game. So, who knows? Quarterback, obviously this has been the story through these guys' whole career. Justin Fields, Elite 11, NFL Elite 11 MVP over Trevor Lawrence. These guys have gone at it head-to-head their whole careers. Justin had to watch Trevor win a national championship as a freshman while he was sitting on the bench. So Justin's got he's got the chip on shoulder. Um, so this is going to be an interesting matchup. I think both of these guys are very different, but they're very effective. Um, so that'll be interesting. Continue the story there. As far as the running backs, this is going to be very interesting because every Clemson fan I've talked to has told me how great their offensive line is. I'm interested to see if you can prove it against this defensive line because I think this is one of the best defensive lines in the country. So good luck there. Etienne's obviously a monster. It's not that I don't respect all these guys. It's not what I'm saying. I do. These are top level athletes. But I'm saying I've heard some Clemson fans who act like their guys are just miles ahead. I think Dobbins is better than Etienne in my opinion. Sorry. I think Ohio State's offensive line is better. The only positions that you really can make a lot of the argument is linebacker, and there's a couple other, but I'm saying this is not going to be a game that Clemson fans are going to be happy and calm through the whole thing. Ohio State, even if we do lose, let's just say that. If Clemson wins, we will fight till the end. We're going to make it a game. So it's not going to be a blowout. There's one thing I can promise you, this game won't be a blowout. It'll be close. I've already told you how I think it's going to go. So let me know your score predictions. I think, like I said, 35-27 Ohio State. Should have been number one. But anyway, LSU is going to beat Oklahoma probably. So LSU Ohio State National Championship, probably, in my opinion. But who knows? We'll see. Give Lincoln Riley 2 weeks. He'll have something ready for you. So, all right, let me know your score prediction in the comment section below. If you could, please like I said, comment. And if you like what we do here, subscribe. Turn on your notifications not to miss a single video. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Go Bucks. Can't wait for the game Saturday.